Okay, hello, good morning. So I was going to continue on like this Bonsify thing we're exploring, but this thing came to my attention. There's this new agent framework called Mastra, which is just like it's an amazing product. Like the design, like the tooling design here is just freaking amazing. There's some very, very talented people working on this, and what it basically is, and like the accessibility of it as well. Like it's a really good product, regardless of it being an AI product, and it's a developer tool, right? It's like you don't often see that much love and attention go into an actual developer tool product intersection. It's very, very cool. But the point is that with everything that's AI related at Code Sandbox, like we built this amazing infrastructure, and as it turned out, this infrastructure was better designed for AI than for humans. So whenever there's like new tools coming out, I'm kind of going and test it on Code Sandbox to see like how well it fits with our infrastructure. So I have, let's see, I have this thing running here. Let's see. Let me open that in a new window. Yeah, how can I do this? Let's see. I have to be a little bit careful here. Wait a minute. I'm gonna copy. Oh, god damn it! I'm gonna copy this, and we're gonna do this in Safari instead. You'll have to excuse me. I'm on my work computer. Let's see. Oh yeah, not here, but here. So basically, all I did to get this thing running was running this create Mastra, and it creates an app for you, and you decide kind of like your OpenAI token if you're using OpenAI, and then it runs this thing. So it has like I often not often, but sometimes I've done this. Like, okay, I'm going to create this developer tooling. How can I just make it an npm package, right? That's the most accessible way to do developer tooling, so that you just call npx something and then it just does the thing, right? And this is very similar. And what it does under the hood is that it sets up this server where you have an admin UI where you can go in and look at your agents. So this is a weather agent. What is the weather like in Trondheim? That's where I'm at. I currently hooked it up to OpenAI, and here you can see like the instructions. You can change the instructions. Yeah, and each agent gets like all these endpoints where you can like go and change things. So it's also like, how should I put it? It's not just a tool to create like an agent. It's like a deployment framework, so that when you actually deploy it to production, you have these endpoints to also make changes to the agent. It's very, very cool. And then you have tooling, where we have, and that they made this like UI on top of it. It's pretty amazing. So this is like weather tooling. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to look at how this is actually implemented. So this is like the weather tool, which is like probably calling some API somewhere and gives you some details back. And then you have workflows. I haven't looked at this, but we can explore that. But it's very impressive stuff. And then I have like an inference endpoint. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Where are you? There we are. No, that's something else. Let's see. Just 2 seconds. Oh my god. Didn't I post? Let's see. Sorry, I didn't prepare this very well, did I? So this is a post. Yeah, by the way, I have to make this unlisted so that I can actually call it. So let's go in. Do I have? Oh. Let's see. HTTPS code sandbox. No, not code sandbox. Ah, god damn it! This was annoying. Sorry about this. So this is my URL, and it's API agents, weather agent, generate, and then we have headers, content type, JSON, and body raw. Yeah, probably can't see this very well, can you? So then it's messages, role, user, content. What is the weather like in Trondheim? So if I send this now, yeah, you see that I get like the output. So you have your own inference endpoint. It's very impressive stuff. And that was running one single npm command. And you get this admin UI, and you get the inference endpoint. And if you hook it up to GitHub, you can immediately deploy it to production. Like, that's insane. Well done. What we're gonna do here is, instead of pointing out to like an external weather thing, we're gonna try to actually change content on the dev box itself. So we're gonna like create a folder here called project. And then we're gonna just give it access to like writing files and stuff. And see how we can do that. I haven't looked at anything here, so I'm not really sure what we're doing. Let's see. Tools. Maybe we can look at the code first. So I believe there's like an actual agents thing. Here we have it. We have the weather agent. And that's also the cool thing is I have no idea how they actually do this. But like how they actually infer or derive a UI from the implementation details. But there's a weather tool here, and that comes from tools. Yeah, so here we have, oh, you know what? Maybe they are deriving it from, that's why they call it the TypeScript. So maybe they're actually deriving it from SOD. Isn't that what it's called? So they kind of get like, so they derive the, so here we have this tool, weather tool, and it finds like the input based on input schema, right? That's really cool. And then I literally just call the tool under the hood. That's very interesting. Anyways, so we're gonna add another tool that is, so let's call it export const. Let's just do it above here. So weather response, like we're not gonna have, we're just gonna allow it to like write a file, and then we're gonna see what happens. So we have to import star as fs from fs, and then let's just do export const write file. What was it? A create tool? And what does it take? Create tool ID write file. Maybe this actually takes too long for a stream. We'll see. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to write a file to the project. And then input schema would be, okay, path, string, and then content is also string. And then we have output schema. That's just void. We're not going to do that. And then execute. This is very cool. Oh, it restarts the server every time I save something. That's also a thing, right? It's almost like developing a web app. So it restarts the server every time you make a change, so that the admin UI updates and everything. But let's see. So we're gonna, well, not return anything. We're just gonna await fs promises write file. Yeah, and the thing is, we're gonna hard code where it can actually do this. Get join workspace path or join project path. So we're gonna hack it a little bit, but that's fine. Path string, and we're gonna return. So we're running this tool from. So I think we need to do this. Yeah, by the way, import. No, let's do join from path. So we're gonna return join process and projects path. Let's see. It's a little bit annoying actually that it restarts every time, but anyways. We're not going to return anything, and we're going to do return context.path. Wow, CPU usage is crazy here. Maybe I should give it some more juice. Well, let's see. So we have write file, and I think if we look here now. Oh, I thought I would actually see. Huh, I wonder what I need to do to actually weather tool. Oh, maybe I actually have to attach it. So in this agent, we're gonna do, oops, write file. Should this kind of just work? There we go. Isn't that cool? Huh. Okay. So what we're gonna try to do now, we're just gonna ask it to the weather agent. Could you please store the current temperature in Trondheim? Okay. Yeah, whatever. Let's just ask it to do that. No such file or directory. Project workspace. Oh, interesting. So we're not running it. Okay, let's just hard code. Let's just hard code it. So it's gonna be slash, what was it? Project workspace. Project workspace. Oh, and I call it projects. That's also wrong. Let's just do this. Okay, and now I can, I guess, refresh again. Could you store the current temperature in Trondheim? Uh-huh. What's this? Is that oh, that's copying the thing. That didn't seem to work, did it? Or did it do it? Oh, look at that. Current temperature in Trondheim. It did write the file. Ah, that's funny. But it didn't. Yeah, it didn't like confirm to me that it actually wrote the file. But that's cool, right? So we kind of have the small beginnings of a coding agent. Now we can write a file. What we need to do, so there's a few things that you need to do for a coding agent to actually work. Like we need to be able to read files, need to write files to like nested directories. And I'm just thinking about like how far can we go with this? And I'm also very curious about the RAG system. Because that's the thing. Like coding agents, the biggest challenge with coding agents is context. And it's not very efficient to read the contents of all the files. So I'm very curious if there are tools here that, like they have RAG tools with vector databases and everything. So what if the RAG tool is the actual file system, right? We just point to the project directory and it just goes and keeps everything in sync. That would be amazing, because then the coding agent can look into a vector database to find relevant files and folders, as opposed to I'm just reflecting on what we should do next. So I think that's kind of the, yeah, so that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna go in here. We're gonna it was really fun though to do that. But we're gonna delete this file and we're gonna go in here and we're gonna just set up a Vite project. And then we're gonna, let's see, project, what is it? How do you set up a Vite project? Vite.js. Get started. It's like npm create Vite latest. Where are we? Here we are. Where are we? Are we in the... Didn't I? Wait. Oh, sorry. We're here. So we're in project. So we're going to do npm. Oh, come on. Oh, npm create Vite latest. Yes, please. I'm going to do a React TypeScript application. Let's just do npm install. And what we're going to try to do is to make this, we're going to create a tool that makes this agent aware of this code. It should understand what this project is. And it can do that by reading a shit ton of files and reading directories and stuff. But I don't want it to do that. I want it to use, we're going to try using RAG. But we can do the file, like reading file first, and kind of take it from there. So we're going to add, let's see, we're going to add another tool. So we're going to call this tool read file. Read file reads from the project. This only takes a path. Read file, and this needs to return result toString, I think. UTF-8, something like that. Yeah, and output schema here is a z.string. Why does it say result any? Is that weird? Why does it say that? Oh, I'm not gonna get stuck in. Let's see. Encoding UTF-8. Oh, look at that. Does it actually become a string? Oh, it's struggling. Like let's see if I can bump up the... Oh, it's nano. Let's do small. It's kind of cool how we can actually change the spec without restarting. It's very cool. Okay, so now we have read file, but we also need export const read directory. Let's just copy that. Read directory reads a directory from the project. That's also just a path, and this is actually a string array. The array. Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna read there. Yeah, I guess we don't need encoding here. Yeah, I guess we can just return this, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, so we're gonna add read directory and read file. And read file from tools. Okay, so we have our new weather agent that's able to read code. Could you tell me what this project, what kind of project this is? Oh, yeah, let's change the instructions. Can I change it? Oh, maybe I have to actually change it here. Okay, you are a helpful coding assistant working on a project that you have access to. Is to help developers oh, interesting. Your primary use the does it have yeah, whatever. Let's just do something very coding agent. You're a helpful coding assistant working on a project that you have access to. Okay, let's just do this and then could you tell me what kind of project this is? Look at that. What did it actually do? Is there like a debugging traces? How can I look at the tool calls? So what I expected did was that it called read. What's really cool about this is that it's happening on device, right? So we don't have to call an endpoint to retrieve the data. It's just there. But still, we of course have to pass that data to the LLM at OpenAI. In this case, what would be even more amazing is if the LLM was also running on the dev box, right? Imagine that. But anyways, so let's just run the dev server. Let's say open externally. So here we have. So I'm going to try something. So this is going to be the kind of like out of context kind of question. Could you make the initial count be 10? So this is like a very ambiguous thing, and it needs to retrieve a lot of context to understand this, right? So we're going to try this here, and hopefully it actually fails. But maybe it's actually efficiently reading all the files and folders and is able to figure it out. But what I hope to show is that if we are able to provide a RAG solution here, that it will immediately just figure out exactly what file. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? This is exactly what I hope would happen, because there's no way it can. I could instruct it so that when there's ambiguity, that it should go and like read files and stuff. But this is very, very inefficient. So I have no idea how this is gonna go, but we're gonna look at the RAG solution here and see if we can implement something that actually makes a RAG out of our project. And it's tricky, right, with code, because there's a lot of code you don't want to put into your vector database, like node modules. But let's look at how this works. So RAG in Mastra helps you enhance LLM outputs by incorporating relevant context for your own data resources. RAG system provides standardized APIs, process and embed documents, support for multiple vector stores, chunking and embedding strategies for optimal retrieval, observability for tracking, embedding, and retrieval performance. To implement RAG, you process your documents into chunks, creating embeddings, store them in a vector, and then, okay, so maybe it's just the RAG stuff. So we have to implement the actual, including PJ, Pinecone, and Qdrant. See the vector there. Okay. All RAG examples. RAG, chunk text, chunk J. And this is also a thing, like you should embed differently based on HTML, or you should create chunks. Like, do they call it chunks? Yeah. So you should chunk differently based on it being HTML, JSON, JavaScript, TypeScript. Like, it's very, very difficult to get this right. And I wish there was like a out-of-the-box RAG solution for code that you could just again, like run an npm package on your on your code base, and it will just automatically create a vector database out of your code. I have a feeling that GitHub is going to do something like that, so that when you go to GitHub and you ask about code, it's actually based on, because the good thing about GitHub is that it's static, right? So it can, whenever you push a commit, it can safely update a vector database of your code based on that change. But when you're developing locally, you're making changes to files all the time, right? So to keep the RAG solution up to date, you need to sync constantly with the file system. And that's much harder to do. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're even able to kind of get started with this. I did build this code, this RAG solution though, that I wanted to make into an npm package. We could maybe copy that over and then try using that. So we could do like a very simple thing. But what I wonder about is, can we run, that's the most important thing. Like, what vector databases can run in a dev box? Vector storage, vector database doc. So we want to do it locally. Adding metadata. Like, this is... Okay, let's see if any of these actually can run locally. Pinecone. Can I just do this? And then we're gonna ask GPT. Can any of these vector databases run locally? Yeah, it would be fun to like this is the for me this is the holy grail. Like this is how you make coding agents actually work. It's not about like we're not they're smart enough now to write code, right? The problem is giving them context. And yeah, we have Docker. Yeah, we can run it in Docker on Code Sandbox. Could you generate a Docker image? Sorry, a Docker file for me to run Qdrant. I wonder, because we have. I'm actually not sure how. I'm no expert in. We'll figure it out. How to build and run this. Save this file about an empty dir build image. Cool. Yeah, let's try Qdrant. So I'm gonna copy this, but it does say that it builds it, right? Why does it say how to ensures it starts up when you run the code? Why do I have to build the image? Whatever. We're gonna do a Docker file. And then I wonder, oh, sorry. I have this dev container JSON. I have to change it related to the added Docker file. Like this is not my thing, doing dev containers and Docker and stuff. That's why we have AI, right? Be able to do things you have absolutely no idea how to do. And you know, we're also going to try to apply AI on building. Like, yeah, I've never actually done that. I did this so early on, trying to build like this file system sync. The most oriented is Docker Compose and run. Update your dev container. Okay. I might break the whole thing doing this. I'm not sure if we support this. Oh my god. Enjoy coding. Yeah. Thanks for that. Okay, let's just try it. What was the name of it? Docker Compose. New file, Docker Compose YML. And then update my dev container JSON. Why does it say /workspace? Where your code lives inside the container. Yeah, I guess that's probably fine. Okay, let's see what happens now. I have a feeling we're gonna break the whole thing. We didn't break it though. Oh, let's see now. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, my point is, like, I built this, I actually have it on. Was this the port? Wasn't it? Yeah, so it did open it. That's nice. It did run it. Hey, it worked. That's awesome. Yeah, so I actually have a YouTube video on building a coding agent back in the GPT 3.5 days. And that's where I built that that RAG, like file system RAG or code RAG tool. And it actually worked really, really well, because the way I built it is I didn't just like take all the code and just made embeddings out of it. What I did is that I went through the code and I asked GPT 3.5 to summarize the code. And then for each folder, it will go into each file, summarize the contents of each file. And then for each folder, it would summarize the summaries of each file, right? So you would just have these conceptual summaries reflecting your your file system. And that's the kind of information that an AI needs to figure out what files and folders are relevant. The code itself isn't that important. It's the meaning of the code. And it worked really, really well. But it was quite heavy, right? If you're making code changes all the time, especially if you make a change in a file in a folder, you would have to like summarize the file contents again. It will have to summarize the folder again. Like it was, so yeah. But at that time, GPT 3.5 wasn't good enough to actually like suggest how to do that. So we could try to use AI to build some simple like RAG solution. Anyways, so let's look at, where were we? Where are the store embeddings? Qdrant. Yeah. So, well, we don't need this API key, I guess. We just need the URL. Yeah. Where do we go from here? Did they have like an example here? I need examples. Okay, let's copy this. And then I think, where's the new PG? Oh, connection string. Okay. Let's see if we can just go in here and go to tools. We're just going to shove this in here. This is going to look super, super messy. So we have Qdrant. Oh, no suggestions. Oh, interesting. Qdrant. Oh, do I have to install it? Oh, are those separate packages? Okay. Okay, so we have thing running. And then what are we going to do? My Mastra app. So it doesn't actually have... Okay, sorry. So npm install Mastra Qdrant, I guess. Let's try this. Yeah. Oh, so you actually have experience with the solution. Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing, right? It's the memory, it's the context. Like that's, like these models has gotten so good now, so that like the bottleneck isn't like the reasoning capabilities. Like that will always be, oh my God. that will always like can be improved, but it's so good now that like these other things becomes a bottleneck, like memory and RAG. How do I vector databases? Qdrant. Oh, Qdrant. Oh, Qdrant. Oh, maybe I should do RAG as well, just to make sure it's there. Yeah, so actually, like I did a ton of exploration on Code Agent, but my conclusion at that time was like, there's no reason to even try making a coding agent in terms of, okay, let's build some tools for it. Let's build some great prompting so it kind of reason about using the tool and putting it all together. Like there's absolutely no reason to do that until you actually have good enough context building for the agent. And then I just found it to be too inefficient, like doing what I did, and then I kind of left it there. Okay, so we have Qdrant. Is that the name of it? Qdrant vector. Oh yeah, so we already import that. So I guess what we want to do. No, are we already getting? Type errors. Ah, that sucks. And this would be, oh, what is the, oh, URL, nice. So I guess this is like, would it be like localhost? Can I do this? Like localhost, what was it? 666.333? Something like that. Query vector, what's that? Where's that coming from? Where did that come from? Oh my God. Where was the example? Where did I find the example? Oh, now I'm completely lost. Was this the example? Yeah, this was the example. Where did it get query vector from? Is it the... Oh, it's probably a... I guess it's PG vector, right? Query vector. Oh, is the embedding of the query. I don't understand this. Why don't they show how to do that? So I understand it's the query of the embedding of the query, because if you're going to query a database or a vector database, you're passing in a prompt which is like text, and you have to convert that into embeddings to actually query the... But couldn't you just show me how to make embeddings from the query? Where does it actually... Embeddings. Embed many? Oh, okay. So I guess I can just use embed from AI then, and then... Yeah, I guess so. This was way more difficult than I wanted it to be. embed. So this will be kind of like await embed. Does it need anything more? Embed model. What does it actually need? I have no idea. I've never used this stuff before. Ugh. Const blah. Oh, it's not text. What is it? Value? Yeah. So something like, yeah, whatever. So this is where we're gonna have the actual prompt or query. And then that's gonna be blah embedding. Look at that. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna try it. But I wonder if we have to map these like that. And then, okay, cool. So what are we actually gonna do here? So we're just gonna create this embedding. I think we're actually gonna like just put everything into a tool for now, so we can control when it runs. So let's create a new, oh, I need some music. So let's do, yeah, let's just export const query project, create tool, query project, query the project, query project code, query the project code to find relevant files and folders. Input schema, that will be query. Output schema will be, okay, do that, execute. It's very cool. Let's see, let's shove everything in there. And then from text, like this is the thing, right? Syncing a file system and creating embeddings out of the contents, like it's, yeah, it's crazy stuff. But yeah. And the problem is that you have to, every time you make a code change, you have to update the embeddings. So you build up the correct context for the next prompt, right? So it's very, very, I'm not sure if it's even like the strategy even makes sense. Like ideally you could just give all your code to, as context, right? In just pure text. But that's also like, imagining it just going through all that is very inefficient, right? Because it really only cares about, like with my ambiguous prompt of changing the count to 10, like it only needs to know about that one file, right? It doesn't need to know about the 1,000 other files. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna try, I think we're actually gonna do a file fs read sync join product path, and we're gonna do package.json to string. Wait, why doesn't this work? Oh, read file sync. There we go. Cool. And then we have context. Where's the query? Context.query. And chunks size overlap. Like all this is like, it depends on the content, right? How you should do this chunking. So it's like, it's immensely complex. Generate embeddings. Yeah, but it will be fun to just see it kind of running. So we're not gonna allow it to redirect, or let's see. We can still have them here. But we're gonna, anyways, maybe that's the kind of, let's say, query code, query project. Come on. Oops. So we're gonna see if it's actually able to kind of get anything out of this RAG thing. So so what I meant to say is like the learning here, it's like acknowledging the complexity of yeah, wait, we need read file because we're actually going to read the file. Yeah, so I don't know if it's actually running the query though. Yeah, but let's see. We're gonna see if we can. So we're gonna map. Oh, interesting. Oh, and that's also a problem. We need to add metadata. Where do we add metadata? Embed many embeddings. But how do I know? Can I add metadata to it from text? Oh yeah, metadata. So path would be package.json. And then I think we can use that here. Yeah, whatever. I think so. We can log this. I'm not sure if we can see it anywhere. We'll see. Anyways, okay, I'm just gonna run it. I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about it at all. Oh, are we not running the thing now? Oh yeah, I restarted it. Let's see. How do I actually run the thing? Does it have... How do I actually run it? Oh, sorry. Swagger UI. Like, this is awesome. Okay. Could you tell me what this project is about? Oh, HTTP. Sorry. But it did query. It did query it. Can you tell me what kind of project this is? Our query project code not found? What does it mean? What does that mean? Oh, not found. Okay, so not found? Does that mean what's not found? I guess it's like it's executing here. So it was able to read this. It connected to Qdrant. Maybe this was like not found or something. Let's see if we actually console.log trying to query for results. blah. Yeah, whatever. Value. Let's see what it asks for. That's interesting. Yeah, but what makes me excited about this is that we can actually, like, the point is that with Code Sandbox, what it enables us to do is we can run the embedding store, we can run the agent framework next to your project, right? So technically you could just give a GitHub URL, and what you get back is basically this, right? The coding agent. And then you could just start asking it stuff and doing stuff. And it has already synced everything to the vector database in the background. It already has all the tools it needs to actually manipulate your project, and you do that safely in the cloud, right? That's kind of the promise of this. And this is the first time. That's what makes me excited about Mastra, is that it's the first time I've seen a tool that actually enables us to do that without having to build so much stuff from the ground up. And you can imagine, like, if that just works, like if you're able to provide a tool to developers building actual end user products, that's just like, hi Siggy, that is just a development environment with an AI on top, and it kind of just works, right? You don't have to think about all this complexity of it building up the context of the code, how it executes its function calling and everything. No, Mastra is this new thing, which is just amazing. And I'm using Qdrant for the database now. But let's see, what is this? And we're just currently, like, we just use like read file and read directory to find like contents, file contents, to figure out like how to change something. But it's like a very inefficient way of doing it. And we're just exploring how Mastra does RAG or enables RAG. And it doesn't really, like, it's a very small abstraction over RAG. And what we're going to RAG is the actual code, so that the AI more efficiently finds relevant files to make changes to. But we're having an issue. Not found. Why am I not seeing any logs here? What is not found? Oh, maybe it is actual, this one. How do I actually point to the, like, I have this thing running. But this is like, I don't know this environment. I think I should have been able to do this, but I guess we can like we can try to do this instead. Yeah, because I think that's the problem. It just doesn't find the vector store. What is this project about? Fetch failed. What fetch? Yeah, this sucks. Failed to obtain server version. Unable to check client server compatibility. Yeah, this sucks. I'm not sure how to like point to internal. I thought localhost would work. But this is a very like different environment. So I'm not sure how this actually works on Code Sandbox. But yeah, but what was the fetch that failed? Well, it must have been. By the way, how does OpenAI? Where's OpenAI coming from? Oh, it's just using the, yeah, okay. It's just using my environment variable. That sucks. Enable to check client server compatibility. Set check compatibility to false. But why does it fail? It's here. You're right here, buddy. And I wonder what's failing. Is it this thing that fails or is it something else? I have no idea what to do about this. Absolutely no idea. But I know what the end of this story is. It's that like, okay, we got that thing running, but then the whole question is like, what do you do from there? How do you build a code? Like, has anyone done this? I'm gonna ask GPT. Has anyone built an npm package that creates a code that runs a code RAG for your project? So basically keeps track of file changes, makes embeddings, shoves them into a database and allows you to query your code from the vector database. Like, someone has to build this. And then you might say, why don't you do it? I have kids. I don't have time to build this. Batteries and that does exactly. However, several tools exist that lets you assemble this profile. For instance, wait, what happened? For instance, you could use a file watcher. Yeah, exactly. That's what I did. Fast embed or even OpenAI's embeddings, and then store query those embeddings. Yeah. Frameworks like LangChain offer RAG abstraction that you could adapt for code retrieval tasks. So while there isn't a dedicated yeah, goddamn kids. Imagine how the world would be different if I just had time to make my impact. The ecosystem offers many modular. Yeah, maybe. This sucks. I would love to work on that. But we could take the project I already have, the code RAG tool, and we could apply it to this thing. And what's it? Yeah. Like, it's very cheap to create embeddings. It's exceptionally cheap. So even if you have thousands of files, how often does those files change, right? And the really cool thing about Code Sandbox is that we can create a dev box for you that has your project. It runs Mastra. It has the code RAG tool. And you get this UI to basically work with your code. And the cool thing is it can be so accessible. Just give me your GitHub URL, and I'll give you a chat interface back, and then you can start writing code. But the point is that this dev box that we set up, when that core dev box is like your main branch, has cloned your project, has run the embeddings. Then we create a snapshot of it. So whenever you want to work on something new, you can just fork that dev box and you already have everything running, everything's embedded. It just works, right? And then you can do all your manipulations and stuff. You create a PR that gets pulled into main, into that other dev box. And then it updates its embeddings. And then you're off to the races again. You can just fork it, and you can make your changes again. It's a really, really awesome concept. And what kind of sucks is that we tried to build this flow for humans. We had this amazing flow, but nobody wanted it. And now we kind of pivoted away from that flow so that you just have one dev box, kind of like your local machine. But the problem with that is now that doesn't work as well for the RAG solution, right? Because now you're just changing branches all the time, which will trigger the RAG tool and just generate a shit ton of embeddings that you really don't care about, just by the fact that you're changing branches, right? But when you have this flow that we created at Code Sandbox, where you have this protected main branch that you can't change, it just syncs from GitHub. That's a perfect place to have a code RAG tool. Yeah, I need to talk to Evis about not dropping that flow. Okay, so I'm gonna talk to Evis. And what we are gonna do is I'm gonna set up a new project. I'm gonna set up a GitHub repo. And in that GitHub repo, we are going to just install Mastra and everything as like a test thing. And we're also going to have an actual project in there, like a Vite project. And then we're going to use this feature of Code Sandbox, which is importing a repo, because that puts us into that flow I just talked about. And we're going to try to bring in that code RAG tool. So we're going to put that in there as well. And then with that in place, we're going to try to build a coding agent. Yeah. And then we're going to apply the things from Mastra. That's really awesome. Things like, so we're not going to, like, we're going to use the actual RAG from Mastra, I think. Yeah, so we're going to use Qdrant and everything, but we're just going to use like the syncing logic I created for that other project. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then we're going to use like these, what do they call it? It would be very interesting to look at workflows. When to use workflow. Most AI applications needs more than a single call to a language model. You may want to run multiple steps, conditionally skip certain paths, or even pause execution altogether until you receive user input. Yeah, so that would be super fun to explore. And like, is a coding agent just a single prompt and tool calling, or do you actually build it up as a workflow? So we can explore that, and then we can add like these memories things. And we also have the evals and everything, so we can like look at the efficiency of this. Yeah, so we have memory. Oh, voice. This is awesome. OpenAI voice. Yeah, we're gonna play with this for sure. But I need some time to set up that project. So, because I really like, we could just lean on read file and read directory, and we could get pretty far with that. But that wouldn't scratch my itch, because my itch is code context. And I have a really cool solution to it, as I explained earlier, which is basically go through the files, ask like a cheap agent to just generate summaries of the code. And then for each folder, it creates summaries of all the files in that folder, and so on and so on. So you get this conceptual tree of your code. That's excellent for an AI to figure out where to go to add files, to change files, and so on. It's a very, very cool thing. Yeah, it's like a conceptual file tree. It's very cool. Anyways, so we're gonna do that. Yeah. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for following along, and I hope this was like useful to some extent, even though we didn't really like get anywhere, but we have some action points. Like that's important. So yeah, stay tuned for another stream, and I guess I'll see you then. Bye for now.